Atlanta traffic is awful. If you're thinking about moving to the Atlanta area, well, don't. Once you experience the Atlanta traffic, you may change your mind about moving here to the Atlanta area. The traffic here seems to get worse by the year and maybe by the hour and the minute. But in all seriousness, if you are moving to the Atlanta area, it's good to know some of those painstaking points in the city where traffic does get bad. So that's what I'm going to cover today. I'm going to hop on a map, show you some of those areas. So let's get started. Hey guys, my name is Molly. Now, if you've been watching any other Atlanta YouTube videos, hopefully you like my channel the best, but it's okay if you've been watching some other channels as well, totally fine. But if you've watched any other people talk about Atlanta and moving to Atlanta, the common denominator that we're all going to tell you about one of the cons of living in Atlanta is the traffic. And we're not lying. It is really, really bad. In fact, I had some clients that moved from the LA area to Atlanta, and they even said that Atlanta traffic rivaled the LA traffic. Now, I've never lived in LA. I've never actually been to LA, so I can't really compare, but Atlanta traffic has gotten pretty bad over the years, and it's not going to get any better. But my goal in this video is to show you some of these areas where the traffic does get really bad. So it might help you to decide where you may want to live or maybe where you don't want to live. So let's hop onto the map right now. Okay, so I've got a map pulled up here of the Atlanta area. And when I talk to people that are moving to Atlanta, it's easy to look on a map and kind of say, oh, well, if I live over here and it only says it's about, 8 miles into the city, no big deal. Well, you don't understand what that traffic is like at the 5 o'clock hour until you've been in it. And then it starts to sink in. You're like, oh, okay, this is actually not as easy as it looks. So I kind of want to discuss some of these areas where if you're thinking about living in the suburbs and you're commuting into the city for work, or maybe you want to live in the city and your job's out here in the suburbs. We can kind of talk about some of the main roads. Now, I'm not going to cover every option and possibility out there because traffic is just bad everywhere, okay? And this was going to probably sound like a very negative video because I'm just going to talk about how bad traffic is everywhere. But keep in mind, it's not all day long. Every location has bad traffic. It's just kind of in those peak times where traffic picks up around 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. and then again around 4 to the 6:30 o'clock evening hour commute. Before I get too far in the weeds, if you are thinking about making a move to the Atlanta area, shoot me a text, give me a call, send me an email. Let's have a discussion about your upcoming move to the Atlanta area. You can tell me some things you like, you don't like, and we can talk about areas that might be a good fit for you that fits your lifestyle and your budget. So don't be shy, reach out to me. All my contact information is down below. Okay, to get started, let's talk about some of these northern suburbs. It's a very popular area that a lot of people like to live in if they don't want to live in the city. So they're looking at areas like Sandy Springs, Dunwoody, there's Roswell, Marietta, Smyrna, Alpharetta. Now, don't get me wrong, Alpharetta is a very, very popular area. I love it as well. They have some beautiful homes up there. And people say, well, I can just go from Alpharetta and hop on, this Highway 400 and no problem, right? Well, you're definitely wrong. This Highway 400 gets super packed during those rush hour commutes. So if you're thinking about commuting from Alpharetta into the city, which I know some people that do that, and God bless you all. I hope you listen to some podcasts while you're driving and have some patience because this gets really thick in a hurry. So just be aware that if you are considering living up in one of these northern suburbs and you have to commute into the city during those peak rush hour times, then just expect really slow crawling traffic. If it's a normal day and you're driving from one of these northern suburbs like Alpharetta into town, let's say 10 in the morning, 10:30, somewhere it's not peak rush times, I would say your commute is going to be something like 40 minutes, but put that into the rush hour mix, then that could be an hour. So just be prepared for that if you are considering making a move in one of those areas. Okay, but like I said, Highway 400 is one of the main highways that you will take if you are coming into the city from one of those northern suburbs. And it doesn't matter if you're going north or south, because there's a lot of corporations that have their headquarters here in the Sandy Springs area. So a lot of office buildings here. Some people live in this area, which is great, but a lot of people don't live in this area and are commuting in there. So you get a lot of traffic going both ways on Highway 400. So it doesn't matter which way you are commuting. In the evening hours, you can expect heavy traffic. In fact, my husband once in a while covers a hospital, the Northside Hospital that's right up here. We live down over here in the Virginia Highland area, and he would literally at 5 o'clock just end up staying in his office an extra hour to let the traffic die down before he attempts making this drive home, which I think is about an 8-mile commute, something like that. It can be pretty nasty. So just keep that in mind, that if you are thinking about living in any of these popular northern suburbs and you're looking at Highway 400 as your travel option, it can be pretty bad, morning time, especially coming into town. But at 5 o'clock, when everyone you think is going out of town, well, both directions, the traffic is pretty bad. Now, if you're looking at areas like Marietta or Smyrna or East Cobb, that's a very popular area, and you have to commute down into work, most likely you're going to be taking I-75. Now, I-75, it travels okay, but you're going to have some slowdowns right here at the interchange of I-285 and I-75. A lot of this is traveled by semi trucks that are trying to bypass the city. So they are trying to hop on 285, either going north or southbound. So just be prepared for that traffic to be slow around this interchange. And then once you get past that, it starts to move a little bit more. If you're going into town, it moves pretty good until you get to closer to this downtown area, midtown. And then it slows down again, and then all the way through downtown it will be slow. But that's kind of to be expected at the center of a city. That's just pretty typical and normal. But if you are considering living kind of in the Smyrna area, listen up, I've got a little secret to give you. I don't like to share this with too many people because then the secret's out and cat's out of the bag, that kind of thing. But if you are living in Smyrna or, this Marietta area and 75 is backed up, there is a little secret way into the city that you could use as an alternate route, which would be Atlanta Road. That is, I believe, right here, and it will travel down. I think it turns into Marietta Road, but you can take this all the way down into the Midtown downtown area. So that's my little trick for you if you are living in these areas. Let me just zoom in here and make sure I showed you the right road. So we're right here. This Atlanta Road is right here. And you can actually take this Atlanta Road all the way up into the Smyrna Market Village. So that's a really big main road that will take you into the Smyrna area, but you can follow this all the way down as you see. And it eventually turns into the Marietta Boulevard Street, which then my little markers didn't stay square or flush with the map, but this will take you all the way down, as you can see, kind of into the West Midtown area. So that's a little shortcut, but I will caution you, this road, it's a very industrial area, a lot of trucks delivering things to warehouses on this road. So it's not the smoothest road. It's got a lot of potholes, bumpy, and not a lot of great things to look at. So just know that it's not the most scenic route out there. Now, another option, if you are commuting from kind of the western side, let me zoom out here again, is you may think, well, I'm going to take I-285 and then hop on I-20 eastbound and then get over into the Midtown downtown area, something like that. I will say again, this area can get really backed up for whatever reason. A lot of semis on there, a lot of people trying to get onto I-20. And I will say, when you try to get off of I-20 onto 75, 85, the ramp over here is awful. And a lot of times I really try not to do that interchange because it slows down incredibly bad, even if it's only like 2 in the afternoon. So I try to avoid this at all costs because of its slow going. And I usually like to try to keep going on I-20 and get off here at Moreland, or there's the Boulevard exit right here by Grant Park. And then, you know, I live over here in these in-town neighborhoods, so I would take one of these roads and just kind of weave in through some of the neighborhood streets. Now, one shortcut I will tell you about if you don't want to try I-20, which I've taken this a couple times and it actually works pretty well. There's a few more stoplights in between, but taking this Highway 78. Now, this will take you right over into the Midtown area. Again, this road, not the most scenic. You're kind of going through some very transitional areas. So it's, you know, if you've never been over there, you might be a little weirded out by it because it's not, you know, like a pristine Buckhead area that you're driving through. But if you've been through it a couple times, you'll get used to it. And there's there's some stoplights here and there, but it's actually a pretty well moving road. So that could be an alternate for you as well. Now you may be eyeing, well, I'll take this Highway 19, which is also known as Roswell Road. Yeah, you could take that. There's a lot of stoplights in through here. It'll take you into the Buckhead area. But I will say it can be slow going. And I was actually up in the Buckhead area off of this Roswell Road around the 6 o'clock hour in the evening. And it was pretty rough. There was a lot of traffic and you're also competing with a lot of stoplights. So don't think that this is going to be a fast moving road during those peak rush hours. It can be actually pretty slow. So that's a little FYI. And that's one thing with living in the Buckhead area. Now, it's been a while since I've been in Buckhead at that 6 o'clock hour. And man, there's so much traffic around here. So if you are in Buckhead, maybe you're just wanting to go and shop or something and then leave. My best rule of thumb is if you're in Buckhead and you're not living there, try to leave by 4 o'clock because then the traffic really picks up whether you're trying to go south or go north. That's my best rule is like get out of Buckhead by 4 o'clock because then the traffic just picks up and you're kind of a sitting duck in the traffic. Okay, so let's talk about I-85, another very popular interstate that a lot of people use to get into town, out of town. Now, coming into town, you're gonna see some slowdowns. Right here, this is called Spaghetti Junction where I-285 and I-85 meet. There's a lot of ramps and it looks kind of like a bowl of spaghetti, if you will. And right here, you know, if you're traveling into town during the morning commute, yeah, it's gonna be a little slow right here. It may pick up and then we'll hit another slowdown as you get into this Midtown area. So just be aware of that. Now, if you're leaving town at the 4:30, 5 o'clock rush hour, things can cruise along right here okay. And then again, once you get kind of right here by that Spaghetti Junction, it's going to slow down because of all the trucks the cars trying to merge onto I-285. Then you're going to hit this area right in here. Trying to blank now the name of the road. Hold on, let me scroll in here. Once I see it, I'm like, oh yeah. So, is it the Jimmy Carter Boulevard? No, I think it's this one right here. Yeah, this Indian Trail. When you get here, or actually even this Pleasant Hill, right? Sometimes it can be both of these roads right here. When you hit these roads, the traffic is really heavy at that 4:30 time, between 4:30 and 6. If you're going north on here, just know it's really slow and congested kind of by this Pleasant Hill Road or this Jimmy Carter Boulevard. Just a lot of trucks, that kind of thing. So it gets really heavy and busy. And that's another thing is, you know, the trucks, there's a lot of semis I noticed that get off on I-285 northbound trying to get onto I-85. And so this area also slows down a lot if you're trying to get onto that I-85 northbound from 285. This ramp is pretty slow going as well during those peak times. Now, again, all these areas, you know, during the non-peak rush hour times, they flow pretty well. So if you're wondering, I'm not trying to say that Atlanta's traffic is bad 24/7. It's just during those rush hours that I'm really trying to hone in on where it can get really messy, if you will. So, okay, so that's kind of the north side. Highway 78, if you live over in like the Lilburn, Tucker area coming into town, I like this highway. I think it travels pretty well. And then it does slow down here. I mean, when you're changing your speeds here once you hit the in-town areas. And then this is Ponce de Leon right here. It will definitely back up around here, this Ponce at that 435, this Moreland and Ponce. This is a big intersection, just a stoplight and then a lot of cars trying to get in and out. So just have some patience. This stretch in particular, right along here between Moreland and kind of by where Clifton Road is and the Druid Hills Country Club, which is right here. Right through here, this is a lot of scribble scrabble, but right in through there, it is definitely heavy traffic at that peak time, and you just got to have some patience. And again, listen to some music or something, whatever calms you down in the car ride, because you will need that to get through those heavy stoplights. I-85 going south. So, I live in these in-town like if you live in any of these popular in-town neighborhoods, getting to the airport has always been a breeze for me. Even during peak times, you can hop on, and I always feel like it runs pretty well getting over to the airport. So I'd say if you live over here, you're looking 20 minutes even when there's really bad traffic. Now, getting back from the airport back into town, sometimes even on a Sunday afternoon, you're coming from the airport back into town, the traffic just is always slow right in through here. So just have some patience. Sometimes I will honestly get off on one of these side streets and cut through these neighborhoods just because I can't stand the slow moving traffic right in through there. So if there's anything that you're hearing a lot about, is that the traffic just in the center of the city, definitely going to be a bottleneck. There's nothing you can do about it. But okay. Another thing I'll mention is, I've traveled this I-75. Usually going out, it's not a big problem, but it never seems to fail. Coming back, I have to scroll out here a little bit more to tell you my bottleneck area. If you are traveling down here, I don't know what it is, but right down here by McDonough, the traffic coming into town, it crawls. I don't know what it is. So I go out to McDonough every year to take my kids strawberry picking. They have a really cool strawberry picking farm over there, and it never seems to fail. Getting back into town is crawling right through here. I've also driven from Florida and come up I-75, and both me and my in-laws, they were like, yeah, we hit really slow traffic. And I'm like, it doesn't matter what time of day it is. Doesn't matter if it's a weekend or a weekday, this traffic, for whatever reason, is always crawling. So just a little FYI there. Now I'm gonna pick on a few little areas inside the city if you're looking at living in the city. I mean, every little mini sub-market is going to have their roads where it's just painful because of that one stoplight. But I'm gonna talk to you about a couple other kind of middle of the ground main roads that can cause some problems. So one of them I want to talk about is this Moreland Avenue, which may be labeled as Highway 23 or this Highway 42. It's so weird how Atlanta has like road numbers. There's like all these different highway numbers for the same road. Moreland Avenue, just FYI, is it gets really backed up because there's a lot of people that live over here in the East Atlanta area. This is Ormwood Park right here. Grant Park is right there. So this intersection right here, Moreland, it's a faster moving road so most of the time, but you get people that are trying to get, from these in-town areas onto I-20. So naturally the traffic is going to back up. And there's a couple traffic lights right before you hit I-20 if you're coming southbound on Moreland, right? And through here, you have a traffic light right here, which is not always in sync, and then it just causes a backup of traffic. So if you're traveling from, these in-town areas trying to get onto I-20, this area can back up. And also, if you're coming up from the south, this area can back up as well, trying to move that way. There's also a big shopping center right here with a Target, a Kroger, that kind of thing. So you get people that are trying to get over to this, and then the people that are trying to get on I-20. And even on the weekends, I'll be just trying to run a quick errand over at Target and the traffic will be crawling. So you just got to be cognizant that this Moreland Road, if you are eyeing it as an option for your commute, it can back up, and it will back up during that 5 o'clock hour in the afternoon and the morning hours. I can't really say, I'm never out there at 7 a.m. to tell you for sure, but I'm sure it's kind of the same situation. One highway you'll hear people talk about is this Highway 13, also known as Buford Highway. This is kind of the international road where there's a lot of like Korean barbecue places, Indian restaurants, Chinese restaurants, just very different ethnic foods. So it's a great spot to seek out for some different foods if you're kind of that foodie person, some hole in the wall places. But this is a great alternate to 85 if this gets backed up. You could take Highway 13, and let me zoom out here a little bit more. You can see how far it goes. But you can see it goes all the way out into the suburbs of, the Doraville region, Peachtree City. Peachtree Corners is up there. So that can be an alternate, and it runs pretty good for the most part. There are stoplights, so it is kind of come and go traffic, so it's not perfect, but it's usually a pretty good flowing road. A couple other roads that I'll talk about just briefly is, getting up to Buckhead. I mean, it's a popular area to be whether you're working there or just wanting to go there and shop. There is this Piedmont Road that comes down over here and winds around right here, and you take it into Midtown. And then there's also Lenox Road that's kind of on the other side of the shopping areas, and you can take that down into Highway I-85. Both of these travel great during the day, but during that rush hour, that's why I said, like, if you can get out of Buckhead by 4 o'clock, you're probably more in the clear than if you wait till 4:30, 5 o'clock. These roads will start to back up, and then you're going to be a sitting duck for a while. Now, also, I should mention Peachtree Road. If you are in the Buckhead area wanting to take Peachtree Road down into Midtown, this flows again really nicely during the day, but during that peak time, there's a lot of stoplights along Peachtree Road, so you're going to need to have some patience. I will say, I was out showing homes with a client, and we were looking at some condos, and they had some construction going on, so they closed 2 lanes and only had 1 lane open. It took me literally 30 minutes to get from right about here down to 12th Street off of Peachtree. I should show that right here. So yeah, it took me 30 minutes to get this down to here when there was a road closure. So not fun. So when Peachtree's flowing fine, it's great, but when it's not, have a lot of patience because it can really eat at you for sure. The final road system I'll talk about here is DeKalb Avenue. So this stretches all the way from the downtown area, and it runs parallel to the MARTA line that's right around here. And it will change names into West College Avenue, but it'll take you into the city of Decatur and over into the Avondale Estates area. So if you live anywhere around here and you have to get into the Midtown or downtown area, DeKalb Avenue will be a great option for you. It can have some slowdowns, but it's not usually too bad. And they recently repaved DeKalb Avenue. It used to be horrible. There was a lot of potholes. And I mean, the city of Atlanta has a lot of potholes, but in general, it flows pretty well. One final thing I'll touch on is in the Midtown area. Midtown is a very condensed area with a lot of people, a lot of high-rise buildings, condo buildings. So you're going to get a lot of people packed into Midtown. But one thing you'll notice is Midtown traffic isn't so bad. You know how I said kind of the heart of Buckhead, the traffic is bad. You got a lot of businesses and people living in condos and shopping traffic. In Midtown though, I don't know what it is, but I never find myself really having a lot of backup issues in Midtown. Now, don't get me wrong, there are times where cars back up on stoplights, but for the most part, it flows pretty well during the day and during those peak hours. Every once in a while, they do have a road shut down, and then it causes a little bit of pain. But for the most part, Midtown flows really well, remarkably for how condensed of an area it is. Now, just remember, if you live in a bubble and you don't have to get out much, then traffic is not going to be an issue for you. So If you are living in the Brookhaven area and you plan to stay in that area and only need to, get to shopping, at Target and things like that just every once in a while, traffic won't feel bad. I think the people that will feel it the most are the people that, live either in the city or out of the city and have to commute, vice versa. Then that's when you really need to pay attention and know what your travel times are going to be. And I don't mean to sound like a negative Nancy saying traffic in Atlanta is awful, because during regular times, like I said, it's actually not bad to drive around. It's just, those rush hour times you are going to hit that traffic. I want you to be aware of it so you know that it's all not just peaches and roses all the time here in the Atlanta area. All right, so that's kind of a brief overview of some of the main areas where you can expect some heavy traffic during those peak travel times. Now, this isn't a video to just say that traffic sucks everywhere. I mean, it kind of does, but hey, the traffic is flowing for the most part, but during those peak rush hours, if you find yourself that you're going to be commuting for work or that kind of thing, I just want you to be aware of it so that you aren't getting an unrealistic expectation of what your commute time would look like. But hey, if you are thinking about making a move to the Atlanta area, whether it's tomorrow or next year, let's have a discussion first and find out what those areas that would best suit your lifestyle and budget are, and we can go from there. So reach out to me, shoot me a text, give me a call, send me an email. I'm here to help you out. Now, if you run into me into the wild, make sure you say hello. I love running into a lot of you. I get some phone calls sometimes where they're just like, I just want to say hi, which is cool too. But as always, I love hearing from you. Reach out, and until next time, you guys, I'll see you around the neighborhood.